Well, hey guys, welcome on into the Pegasus Actual Podcast. This is, I think it's episode 24. Hell, I don't know. I've actually got the episode count out of order on the playlist, so I actually have to go back and edit it and get the episodes in the right order. Or I might just take episode numbers off and say screw it, and we'll just go by the episode numbers of the series. So I don't know. So I didn't even put an episode number in for this episode of the podcast because I was like, yeah, well, whatevs. So, it is what it is. But we are at the exciting finale of the 3-episode Pegasus story arc. It started episode 10 of season 2 with Pegasus, and then we did episode 11, which was Resurrection Ship Part 1 last week. And now we are at Resurrection Ship Part 2. And it's a very, very good episode. And it's absolutely 100% enjoyable. And I can't wait to, get into our observations with you guys because it's really kick-ass. So, we're going to check that out. So with me tonight is obviously we've got author Stephen Walton.
What? Excuse me, I am Admiral Karen. I'm your fleet manager.
That's right, Admiral Karen.
Right.
And we have the lovely and awesome Nerd Cookies, who has really come in and made the show like great with her observations and her contributions so far. And Culture Casino is on vacation right now, so he will be back probably next week. And then we have
but Culture Casino is with us in meme.
Yeah, he is. He's with us in memeing.
He made this for me. Thank you, Culture.
Yes. So shout out to Culture Casino. The script doctor is currently away in a pitch meeting, which is kind of good because it's running late.
And so he's not wearing pants in that meeting.
He might have good news coming for his show. So fingers crossed, and our best wishes go out to him. We want to see Script Doctor get a project going because the man deserves it, and he's a talent, and he is one of the people that can affect change in the industry.
Yes, and not only does he understand fandoms, understand consumers, understand how to present different stories and story angles and properties, but he is the only writer who can pitch a series without his pants on and get it done.
That's right. So Lady Mist says hello to Elaine.
Hey, Lady Mist. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming.
And we've got Jedi Bill in the crowd, my buddy Jedi Bill, and we've got our esteemed sweetheart Raquel in the crowd supporting us. And,
Raquel's there. What's up, Raquel?
Hey.
Yeah, she stepped away for a second, but she is out there.
That happens, man. I was working with Scott every Tuesday for the longest time, and then life got in the way. He's got to take care of kids, got to do stuff at home, and he's got to walk away from a program. So that happens on some of these shows. It's just a thing. But then we have awesome people like Nerd Cookies who step in and Culture Casino to help carry that weight. So Raquel, we love you. Can't wait for you to come back. Your stewardship of your position is in good hands with these people.
Yeah, and we've got our buddies Toxic Man Flu and Parrot Head in the crowd, and that just adds to the fun.
I was wondering how long it would take Toxic Man Flu. Look, just because I'm doing a show with
Cookies and brew.
Oh my gosh, man. Between I just gotta say, man, the stuff Parrot Head sends me, between memes and the other stuff, my Parrot Head definitely keeps keeps my head on the swivel. You know, good thing I'm not wearing sweatpants.
Off the wall shit all the time. Yeah, I can't like every single thing, man, because I'm busy. But trust and believe, I don't know what to expect when I click on that DM. But it's always entertaining. But I don't know what's coming.
Toxic Man Flu is also, you know, he has a wrench, so he feels pretty good, feels pretty empowered right now. So yeah, it's nice. So he's actually in the chat keeping the trolls away. I mean, who are we kidding? Toxic Man Flu is our troll, but
yeah, you know? We have good trolls though. We have trolls that love us.
He keeps the shitty trolls away. So there we go. So let's jump into the episode. All right, Steven, what are we adding to the stream here so we don't get pulled down?
I'm not going to get pulled down. I'm not going to play any live shots. It's a picture of the resurrection ship.
Yep.
We can do it all out.
So let's kind of get into the opening sequence. So we see you know, the beginning of montage, obviously the recap, and then we get into like that weird thing where you know, it's kind of similar to that one episode where Kara was you know, stranded on the on that moon, and it kind of kept going to that one particular sequence where she's spinning out of control and she's about to crash land. And you know, it was kind of a similar thing in this episode with the thing with Apollo. So we kind of see him floating out there in the midst of space, sort of watching a battle go on. And then of course we cut to the Pegasus brig where Hilo and the Chief are in there, and then the Sunshine Boys come in.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, that's right.
They're pissy about Lieutenant Thorne dying.
Well, I mean, these two guys had the audacity to stop their group. R word. Oh, yeah. How dare they? How dare they stop such a heinous act from happening? They're the bad guys. Man, none of the men in that room that walked into that room are worth their weight as men, in my opinion. The whole excuse that's given to the crew, they're not human. They're machines. Like, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. To my mind, being a human is having empathy for other things. Empathy for dogs, pets, animals, and just empathy in general to other things. So to not have empathy, to not show some kind like that may not be a human in the terms that you would classify it as. It was constructed, but I mean it's a sentient being. Mm-hmm. So that's a violation. You know,
he's having a baby. Yeah. They can procreate.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's very twisted, their view.
Yeah, and
well, it goes just like how you view the enemy. It's how you desensitize yourself to the enemy. Humans do that between nations, like the Allies and the Germans. They didn't, look at each other as human. They looked at each other as the enemy. But that's a road that dehumanizing someone is just an excuse to commit heinous acts.
And that's what I was thinking too, the word you used, desensitized. That's what I was thinking about Admiral Karen or Admiral Kane. She just seemed numb to everything, to everyone. And
but to her defense, you've got to figure, okay, we've been on this road with Adama and the Galactica and the fleet, right? After dealing with this tragedy, going through, just running and going through headache after headache and being chased down. And then we find out that there's on the other end of this, there's the Pegasus who took another route, that losing everyone that they've ever loved and ever known and every vacation spot and everything all at once affected them in that way to where they became more machine-like than the Cylons in their thinking.
That's a good point. It's so well done in how they tell this story. I mean, they don't just, it's not so in your face, but it's through character development, these themes are presented. And through this episode, especially the character development, the dialogue, that's what was at the center. There was this whole battle that's going to take place, but that was kind of like a footnote. Mostly it's what is happening to the people, to the characters and their development. And I just thought that was amazing, that was the most tension building moments was that the interactions between the characters.
True that. I'm sorry, Drew, did I cut you off last time?
Oh, no, go. I mean, you guys were off on a good point, so I was just waiting here. But the thing is, you know, so we see the Sunshine Boys wrap a bar of soap in the towel, and they're essentially giving Tyrell and the chief, or Tyrell and Hilo, a code red. You know, the bar of soap wrapped in the towel, and you know, the Marines had restrained them up, and they're sitting there watching. And then, of course, the Pegasus XO comes down and essentially comes to their rescue. And, you know, and he tells Hilo and Tyrell, I didn't really come to your rescue, but, you know.
I mean, they're fellow officers, so that was... he's a very interesting character.
Yeah,
seeing his development throughout this was very interesting. He seems to be he carries some damage and some kind of desensitizing as well of what happened and what he was forced to do before under Admiral Kane's orders. But there's some lines that, you know, he still doesn't cross when it comes to fellow officers, and so that was interesting to see.
I'm putting out
I forget his name.
Sorry. You know what? That ship, it kind of looks like a mechanical amalgamation of both sex organs. Doesn't it? Just a little bit. Like I can see the one there up there in the middle. There's the lines, and then the long of it. You know.
This is such an interesting design.
It is an interesting design. That is a really awesome design. I've never seen anything like that. Honestly, in any sci-fi before it. I mean, the way you have the different layers, like I've seen kind of that, but just that's one hell of a cool ship to have only had in like an episode, but you know, a lot of thought went into that design.
Are you telling me? Hold on. Do we have a flying Cylon space vagina? Are you?
That's what I was trying to say. But Cookie's like, nah, I ain't going down that road, so I went down the other one.
Go.
It does
ahead.
have one function.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm trying to
well, it's kind of like the Matrix, but a giant, like
all aboard.
How they were grown.
All aboard the space punani.
Oh, man.
It's the embryo ship.
It is, and it can birth. You know, it's all-encompassing gender.
But it reminds me of the Matrix too, in the technology kind of how it looks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that a little bit. Yeah,
a little reminiscent of that.
Raquel is contributing in the chat. I see her sending kisses, and of course, Toxic Man Flu. You know, he's the great quote from Parrot Head that we have floating around the show. Y'all need Jesus. Yes, we do.
Wow. Shot of that.
So. Oh yeah, people are loving the description being the space vagina.
I took the space vagina away, so it didn't. So it wouldn't tease me to talk about it anymore.
All right, so let's not jump too far ahead with this.
I'm just showing pictures.
Yeah,
random.
Which, by the way, though, that when we get to that scene, oh my god, it's amazing.
Oh my god, I love this episode. It didn't make me cry a little at the end. I swear, it did not. It made Nerd Cookies tear up a little bit.
I did, yeah.
But
so we cut to Kara and Kane having a drink in their in Kane's quarters, and assuming they're having a quick meeting before they set up the attack and everything.
Drew, did you get a lesbian vibe in that scene?
No, but here's the thing: the vibe between Kara and Admiral Kane. The thing that I get out of there is, that there's a genuine respect that that Kara has for Admiral Kane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. That's a good moment.
And there's the thing I want to point out about that moment is, Kara brings up that, that from her perspective, Kane was going to casually execute Hilo and Cheryl. And the impassioned explanation that Kane gives, and without the context of actually seeing Razor, and at some point, guys, we will bring you the obviously the review of Razor too, because Razor gives you so much of what's missing that.
Yeah, and she mentioned Razor, but in this episode too.
But she explained to Kara, basically, I've watched a lot of, young kids float out that airlock. So you don't think I don't understand Adama's feelings towards his men. So Kane tries to let her know, we've had, essentially, she's explaining to her, we've had a lot more effed up shit happen to us than you guys had happen to you.
Well, she's also walked into it.
Which obviously you can tell that, by this time, and because if you go to God, and I hate to jump ahead to where, because Razor fits in after about 3 or 4 episodes down the road is when Razor would fit in chronologically, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but with Razor, you kind of understand at the beginning of that movie, mm-hmm. You can see a completely different Kane. She's like she's a good, by the book, a little bit hardened, but by the book officer who is obviously a little green as a newish sort of admiral, but she's a by the book.
Well, she got those bars for a reason.
Yeah, she's a by the book officer, and then she as things progress and happen to the Pegasus and everything else, and what begins to happen to her is she has this sort of really. She hardens to the extreme, which you can see here. And it's almost like to the point of, imagine going through so much trauma and unchecked PTSD that you harden yourself so much that there's partly a psychotic break there. And you can see that with her, especially when you see Razor, and then when you watch these episodes back, you can really begin to understand just, wow, she really had a lot on her, and it essentially cracked her psychologically. But she's explaining to Kara the justification, and I thought that was a very human, very impassioned response. I like that out of Kate, the response that she gave Kara. What did you guys think of that?
I think. Go ahead, Elaine.
I thought that was very interesting. It's the acting was so well done too, because she's very muted. She doesn't give off a lot of emotion, but suits the character like to a T. But in this moment, we see like her again. We see her when talking about the loss of her officers, but even then, it comes across as not really concern, I guess, for them, but she's kind of like desensitized to it, and now it's like a personal slight. She doesn't want anything to happen, because then it's like something against her, like her failure, and she's kind of switched something off to where there's just no emotion for them, for those fallen officers, but rather just moving ahead and avenging, and just Cylons all the way, just, continuing her mission and not thinking about, others, because obviously she didn't think about the loss of civilian life, but really it was just a vengeful spirit. And I think it came across very well in this scene, and I thought it was really well done to be acted that way, and yet so muted and just so kind of like deadpan almost, but it really suited the moment.
Well, the fantastic thing too, you guys, is when she goes into that like little piece of advice she gives her about, the moment comes when we have to commit that one horrible act, that sin, and if we flinch in that moment, there's more body bags floating out the airlock. And she tells Kara, she looks her dead in the face, boy, and she says, when that moment comes, promise me you will not flinch. Don't flinch. And, just the way Kara tips her glass back, finishes the last of the whiskey in her glass, and, that hard sort of lump in her throat, and she just, perfect, powerful sequence between two really powerful women. Oh God, I loved it. And you can see that there is a genuine respect there between Kara and Admiral Kane. Like they have a sort of connection, and she does respect Kane, even though that she knows with her moral compass inside that Kane's probably wrong. There's still the other part in there about Kane that is respectable as a leader, because she's unwavering, she is decisive, she is strong, she is strong for other people, and it's very much something that Kara aspires to, because I think in some situations Kara feels that she lacks that resolve. And I think that, she respects that about Kane. You can clearly see that.
So I think this is my last chance to bring up something, because I think you guys have said it all. Really, there's nothing I can really expound upon with that. But as for me, me, I like thinking of alternate universes and things like that, different timelines of events. And I'm thinking to myself that if these two had been together from the beginning, they imagine how powerful of a team that they would have been, because she would have absolutely embraced Thrace every time Thrace had an idea that was outside the box. She thinks outside the box. That's where she lives. So Kane would have utilized her, and I think that they probably would have. I don't think that she would have been the same type of person had she been with the Pegasus and then met up with Galactica. Of course, that's not the case. But the kind of the respective ideas or direction that Kane has and Kara has in dealing with the Cylons, they definitely, those ideologies definitely would have aligned. And so that's where my mind went with that. Was just wondering what a team of Admiral Kane and Kara Thrace would have been together for months fighting the Cylons.
Well, let me kind of go and we'll check on the chat, because the chat's been on fire. So Raquel says, "I love my Pegasus family." Toxic Man Flu, of course, Jesus. and Raquel echoes the sentiment, "Y'all need Jesus." And we've got Parrot Head. Oh, Jesus.
I know. I read that one of the first out loud.
Oh God! It's so parent. It said.
And then there's the Spaceballs quotes. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Raquel says, "I'm waiting for the new toaster." Oh my gosh! Oh
God, love you guys.
We've got just all kind of comments from the peanut gallery tonight.
You guys are great. It's so funny.
Green, get them out. Oh no.
Mr. Coffee.
And the whitest man on YouTube has arrived, Script Doctor.
Oh, did he finally get here? Let me put on Karen.
Hey, Script Doctor, how did things go? We want to know.
No comment. Let's talk Battlestar.
All right, let's talk Battlestar. All right.
So,
hey, Script Doctor, good to see you.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, there you go. There's a new tagline.
You came into a weird moment.
There's a new tagline for your product, Stephen.
Script Doctor, why is it that I've tried to tell people you're not wearing pants all the time, and it didn't stick like this? Why? How did that happen? For months, I've been telling people Script's not wearing pants.
Well, I am wearing pants. It's in my avatar.
It's not in your avatar. We never see it.
We totally see it. I'm wearing pants.
Yep. Hey, there you go. Another tagline for you, Stephen. You can
highlight my comment right now. You'll see at the bottom of the circular avatar some black where my pants are, and that's because I'm wearing pants.
I don't count. We know you're black from the waist down, dude.
So
more ways than one, yes, apparently.
So we actually have our first participation comment, and Toxic Man Flu in a rare circumstance is said he could be serious for a moment.
Ooh.
And he said, I think Starbucks sees Kane as a victim of circumstance who could be redeemed. So she is trying to show her the better way. And you know, that is an interesting way to look at it. I like that observation, Toxic. You know, you can definitely bring that up. What do you think about Toxic's comment really quick? What do you guys think on that?
I think he's onto something there, because like I said, they've all been getting chased and dealing with this situation and constantly running or fighting, depending on the direction that you went. Where Galactica took the fleet and has been running the entire time, the Admiral has been fighting for home. And one of the things that she said to her was, when Starbuck requested, or when she acknowledged the request that she wanted to go back to Caprica to pick up the surviving humans there, she said, "I'll do you one better. We're going to kick them out of the 12 colonies." You know, right. That's something that she feels in her heart. I mean, so there's been two roads that have been gone down. I mean, Starbuck has been trapped. Starbuck is a fighter, and she has been on defense mode this entire time. And then she encounters someone who has been attacking and who has the idea of, I'm going to go back and take our home. And that's more to Starbuck's personality. She would want to fight and take back her home.
Right.
So they're all victims, is what I mean. They all have that kind of, they're all victims of this heartless aggressor that has taken their homes and their families and everything they've ever loved away. And so, yeah, I could definitely see that. What do you think, Script?
Are we referring to the scene where Admiral Kane is trying to justify her actions for having to, unfortunately, sacrifice various members of her crew, seeing the children that are sent out in space with the colonial flag on and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, well, this is her. Yeah, this is basically her justifying her actions, but it's also got a great level of dramatic irony to it, because she's essentially giving Kara permission to do what Adama ordered her to do.
Right.
And she has no idea that's the case. It's beautiful to watch, but it also shows that it makes it a harder decision for Kara, because she's kind of seeing a reflection of the negative order she's been given by Adama in Admiral Kane, and the last thing she really wants to, I guess, believe at this point is that her father figure, her mentor, could fall in this type of mindset after she does this action, which is basically like saying, yeah, you're gonna do this because if you don't do it, it's the sin that has to be done. It may not be ethical, but it might be for the greater good. And that type of justification is dangerous. And Kara knows this, and Admiral Adama knows this. But here we get this beautiful speech where Kane knows to say it, but I don't believe she believes in it. I think she's saying that, yeah, it's a sin, but I'm only saying it's a sin because you and everybody else around me will acknowledge it as a sin, but I think it's the right thing to do anyways.
Did you guys kind of, drawing a parallel to Star Trek here for a second, did you guys kind of get the vibe in general, if you go back, off the top of my head, I can't think of the actual name of the episode. So if anybody in the chat off the top of their heads knows the DS9 episode that it was in, there was a very poignant scene where Sisko and Worf are discussing the fact that Gowron is wasting resources. He's gotten sloppy.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the latter half of the seventh season.
He's screwing up the war for them, and he's now really put security in jeopardy, and something needs to be done. And so there's this moment where Sisko gives Worf the order without giving him the order that he can take Gowron out by any means necessary. And I kind of drew that parallel a little bit with this vibe. I don't know if you guys think that's kind of a valid comparison.
It echoes a little bit of it, but Gowron was very much self-serving. I mean, if I understand correctly from memory, Gowron was annexing planets in favor for the Klingon Empire's conquest, not so much as defending the Alpha Quadrant from the Dominion, and that's what had Starfleet and all the other allies up in a hoopla. It was even causing division in the Klingon Empire, because I think it was Worf and J.G. Hersig's character, whose name's escaped me right now. Martok, who are conflicted by this, because Martok's loyal to the Empire, so he has to be technically loyal to Gowron, and Worf is also loyal to what it is to be Klingon, but he's Starfleet, so he's caught in that divide as well. When it comes to Gowron's actions, they're very much selfish, but they also have a very broader approach to like reclaiming what he feels the Empire lost. When it comes to Battlestar, I can't quite understand the same type of mutually beneficial actions for Kane. A lot of her stuff seems out of fear and insecurity, where Gowron is about honor, reputation, and story and legacy.
Gowron at that time in DS9 seemed to be just saving his political ass.
A little bit, but you can do a lot when you start saying yeah, I'm defeating the enemies and I'm claiming new planets for the Klingon Empire. That goes pretty far within the Klingon zeitgeist of things. For Admiral Kane, she's basically sacrificing her own people for her own survival, and I don't get the sense that that's what Gowron is doing. He's kind of he weeps for the warriors lost, and it's true, because he doesn't like to abuse them. There's been several instances in DS9 and in Next Generation where Gowron's I don't want to waste my troops on a foolhardy mission. I want to make sure that I will crush my enemies with as few losses as possible. With Kane, we don't really seem to get that. She's willing to sacrifice innocence for her own victory, because it's more self-serving as opposed to for the glory of the Empire. She doesn't believe in the glory of the colonies at this point. She's basically all about herself. So while I understand there's an echo of it, I don't know if it's really something that can be directly parallel. Well, I think Battlestar takes it in a very new and interesting direction.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with it. Does. Yeah. The only thing I would say is that you see in one scene, just previous to this, where her colonel is just basically saves Tyrrell, right. and
Fisk.
Thank you. And so, yeah, And he stops them from committing this abuse against them, and then really just brings up the book. He's like, goes through every regulation and says, by all rights, I could have you executed for what you just did. And then goes in and is thanked by those guys. And then they, he basically tells them, from his perspective, Cylons are not human. So there was no crime committed and no reason for them to defend or kill, Captain R Word.
The torturer.
Yeah. So I mean, it really does show that that they are going by regulation. I don't know if that comes from a place of honor or just keeping a system intact, the military system intact, so that they can continue to execute missions with as much precision as possible, as fluidic emotion, using military tactics and protocol. So, I mean, you can make an argument whether or not it is for honor of the colonies in her perspective, or it is just blatant, just survival, just plainly survival. That's the only parallel I could draw.
That's a good point. It's they are so staunch to following the exact letter of the law without considering context or circumstances or anything, only to when it suits the means that they want to, following the letter of the law to the ends that they want, in regards to hunting Cylons in this particular case. But as far as Admiral Karen goes, but not considering why the law exists, like the principle of the law, which is to serve people, to preserve human life. So that's a good point, Stephen, that you brought in Script Doctor. Very, very good analysis there.
Oh, Script's great. I love Script. He's our Script. You guys can have a Script Doctor, but you can't take ours.
I'm pretty sure I've copywritten my name on YouTube. So
awesome. You want to move forward, Drew?
Yeah,
that was a great conversation to have, though, because this is the last time we're going to really be able to talk about Admiral Kane.
Oh, spoiler!
Henceforth known as Admiral Karen.
Yeah, so
Admiral Karen Kane.
So basically, we cut over, from that scene with Kane and Kara to we get a brief shot of the Galactica, and then we cut to Adama in his quarters. Lee is over there on a courier run, bringing him some paperwork because he's been reduced to just like reserve of the reserve pilot duty until the attack. And then Adama and Lee kind of discuss the ramifications of the mission to take out Kane, because obviously it's the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. Adama, says, hey, look, if you have some sort of problem with it and you can't back up Starbuck, I'll find somebody else. And Lee says, it's not really necessarily about backing up Kara. It's the fact that, essentially isn't right.
Can I have one request?
What's that?
For the remainder of the description of this episode until the final scene, mm-hmm. Can we refer to him as Commander Adama?
Okay.
I didn't cry, not a tear, I was a man.
Okay, no, that don't jump ahead.
Sorry.
Oh.
Nerd cookies did.
I cried a bunch last time too. I swear.
Yeah,
it's such a powerful episode. Really, I'm just amazed at the writing. I continue to be just in awe of the writing, and I just wish we could have more of this. It's just amazing. This scene too, just is so nuanced. And also Apollo's conversation with Starbuck earlier, and how they're talking about her being conflicted. Mm-hmm. About this mission, and he, of course, he echoes the same statements as he does to his father here, but how he has her back, and it's just amazing the relationships between the male and female characters, and how Apollo handles that with Starbuck. She's resolved to fulfill her mission, and he's going to back her up, but he's still going to voice his his feelings to his father, and and this scene too is really strong in that regard. Just so much is said just by their expressions, facial expressions, and how they are with each other. So well acted. I'm just in awe.
Not only that, the reaction that Lee has when Adama reveals that the president's the one that came up with the idea. Because basically the dynamic between the three is that Lee is kind of tries to be like the grounded soul of compassion while also being like, a soldier. The president is supposed to be of the people, and then Adama's the military, and that's where you get the conflict. But in this instance here, we have basically the president being the more aggressive one, challenging with Adama's moral compass, and then Lee's moral compass as well, because he's now seeing the path of the origin of what this idea came from, and that these parties are willing to put it into action. It's kind of just chipping away at the purity of his soul, and we see how this will have a lasting effect throughout the rest of the episode.
Yes, and I mean not only just the rest of the episode, but it's when you look back. When we are further ahead, we can look back at things like this and see how it changed the direction of his character in seasons, because the challenging that purity of his soul, as Script Doctor put it, really showing him the realizations of the avenues that people are willing to go down in order to preserve themselves, and challenging who he is morally. These are the things that I think distance him from where he is now to where he will be in the future.
Hey, Stephen. Raquel is cracking.
I said nothing. I said nothing. I said nothing.
She's dropping the whip on you.
Oh, her husband's gonna get jealous.
Yeah,
he might be a videographer.
Oh man. All right. So Adama tells Lee to be careful, and then we get I love these ship shots of the Pegasus, like the beauty shots that they have. Even though this was like a stock footage shot, like the cut in between to the next scene, man, that passing shot of the Pegasus is just so gorgeous.
Nope, that's not it.
I mean, I have been in love. This is one of my favorite sci-fi ships ever. I mean, just the lines of the Pegasus, the way it looks, it's just a mean-ass ship. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's sleek.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Definitely. It's very phallic, too, so.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
It's a schlong with wings.
And it's going for the space vagina, the resurrection ship. And it's gonna blow it up. It's going to penetrate it.
So now,
and you got a pair of X-shaped ships like chromosomes blocking the way.
So we see everybody getting ready for the mission. The various parties involved in the mission getting ready. Fisk has his Marines getting ready. We see Kara getting ready in her flight suit, and it's just I really like this, and of course they have Prelude to War by Bear McCreary playing, and I'm sorry, like I have all four seasons Battlestar soundtracks, and that's by far my favorite track. Kara, the nice little bit of foreboding here where Kara and Fisk cross paths in the hallway, and Fisk says, "Good hunting, Captain," and she says, "You too, Colonel."
Yeah.
It's just like, God, the foreshadowing there is so good.
Well, it's irony. I mean,
the irony of it. It's full of irony in this episode.
It's not foreshadowing because we already know what's going on, so it's irony. Like if we didn't know what's going on, that'd be good foreshadowing. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, but it also shows a difference in the Force, like the amount of. Okay, let me rephrase this. It also shows the difference in the people that Admiral Kane and Commander Adama have around one another. Kane has an officer and a bunch of Marines going to take care of this assassination. That's who she has. People that are under her command, rigid. They they've sworn into her ideology, you know, of the Cylons are not human, and we're fighting for the last of humanity, and we'll do anything we need to do to accomplish this task. Meanwhile, the assassin going to kill Kane is Kara, and Kara is doing this something that she probably would not do if it was not for Commander Adama, someone that she looks to as a father. Asking her to do this. She knows that she's probably going to die, and still she is going to do this because of the love that she has, because of the dedication she has to that father figure.
Yeah, loyalty
that she has. Yes. So I mean, really, and it's one being sent to do it. Well, two. There was originally supposed to be two, but just one, and then, you know, a whole group. I think that shows the difference of power dynamic.
Damn it, where's our trans representation?
Well, this kind of looks like, I don't know. I have no idea with that.
Well, it's both an X and a Y, right? So it's kind of
this ship.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the transgender one.
Trans chromosome. Doesn't it kind of look like, I mean, I know not completely, but doesn't it look like two Starfleet symbols on top of one?
Two deltas.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Or, no, never mind. I'm not going there.
I know exactly where you're going, but we don't need to continue.
Not doing that. By the way, Lethal Lightning is going to have Mackenzie Taylor, the porn star, on the Aussie show. Whatever, I can't. What is it
Full
called?
Aussie.
Yes. So they're actually going to have Captain Marvel, a woman to play Captain Marvel, on their show, and I am looking so
forward. Which, by the way, honestly, you know, for those of us, when Captain Marvel came out, we knew what a shit show that movie was, and the adult film parody was actually better and more faithful to the lore than Captain Marvel, the MCU movie, which says a lot. But Kenzie Taylor knocked it out of the park as the lead character, and she will be on the Full Aussie podcast with Raging Rhino, Lethal Lightning, and oh gosh, I always forget the other dude that they're,
Geek Blend. What is it?
Well, I saw the unadult version, like the one where they cut all the stuff out. There was like 22 minutes, and it was a good parody of the movie, but I don't know if it really respected much of the lore of the Captain Marvel at all. It just had some fun stuff. It brought in the original Captain Marvel. It made fun of the Nick Fury character and the actor playing him. That's about all that really was.
You're blowing the illusion. You're sucking the illusion of it away.
Oh God, it's sucking. Of course. All right,
I only assumed that she would be revered because of her performance in the stuff that I wasn't privy to see.
All right.
Well, hold on. Give me 1 second, though. I'm sorry, Drew. I just wanted to say that when that happened, when that porn came out, that porn parody came out, that was the only time that I've ever seen like half the Fandom Menace reporting on a porn. For God's sakes. I thought it was the funniest shit I'd ever seen. This is not what these channels do, but they're talking about a porno. They're talking about Captain Marvel. I just thought
chapter of one of your books coming up, isn't it?
Oh man, I might mention it.
Was it like Axel Braun and his savior and his respect to the fandom?
Yes.
So big. Go ahead.
No, my bad. I was just going to talk about the time I was sabotaged by a dick pic before I knew that Twitter had nudity on it. And I talked to some porn star, and then her buddy put his peen right on my feed, and I was like, ah. Whew.
All right. So on that note, big shout out to Sith Lord 3827. JJ, what's up? Good to see my colleague from Mounting Into Comics, Don. AKA Dullified. He's in the chat with us, and of course, oh God, we've got more comments from the Peanut Gallery. Thanks, Don. We did supplementary FAP stream. Yes, I'll put that on the schedule. Who put Nick's Thanks for Jesus.
I think it's more of a what.
Oh God. Oh my God! Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's Toxic Man. You did this. You derailed this like this. This is your fault.
Yes, Sith Lord. I'm going to have to watch that movie for research. Soon.
I'm sorry, Drew.
Wow, I am so derailed. So, wow. Let me get my.
I think we're into the fight part now, right?
Well, no, we see the Marines, Fisk's Marines arrive aboard the Galactica. Saul, another piece of irony, Saul and Fisk are standing there, and he's apologizing to Saul for the inconvenience. And Saul says, just make sure your Marines and our Marines know their areas of responsibility, so we don't have colonials shooting at each other. And then Fisk says under his breath, amen to that. And then obviously we see a quick cut of Adama looking in the mirror at his surgery scar. And then, of course, we cut to Sharon, and she's...
Adama wants to speak with Sharon about why Cylons hate them, because they're undergoing this mission where they might not survive, and he wants to at least die knowing why the Cylons are their enemies now.
Yeah. And I thought this was a very poignant moment too.
Yeah, he said I didn't want to fence with you, because when he asked like why do the Cylons hate us, and she says, she goes, well, she begins to go into an explanation, and he says, I don't want to fence with you, like I want to know why.
Yeah, she was kind of like beating around the bush, as it were.
Yeah.
And then she comes out with this great statement about his speech is like, is humanity worth surviving? And then that kind of checks his perspective to the whole mission that he's doing. Like, how can I justify murdering a fellow person and still think that we're worth saving if I have to do this in order to save the rest of the fleet? Like, there has to be an alternative, like, that he's just not considering. And it's brilliant that those words are able to last with him for the rest of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely maybe you don't deserve. Maybe you don't deserve to live. And he was battling that the whole time. The way they built the tension for each character, for Kara and or Starbuck, I'm sorry, and it just, you can see without them even saying anything, you can see how they have just the weight on the world on their shoulders. And they are just battling with themselves. And Adama doesn't want, he's just struggling the whole time. And he's so muted in certain things, but in his performance and the way he carries himself, you can tell he is just, he's struggling every part of this. And especially so after he has this conversation. And so well done how they built the tension, how they build up to this moment of like, what's going to happen? It's do or die. What are we going to do?
Yeah, and I'm really glad that later on we understand the conclusion he comes to. So I don't want to jump ahead. I want to just stay on this moment here, which is that he's willing to ask, as opposed to just like Kane would never ask the Cylon why they hate us.
Right.
And that's what separates these two as leaders. One is wanting to understand the enemy. The other one is just complacent, knowing that it is the enemy and they must be destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's funny because oh God, I tell Steven not to jump ahead, but later on.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Let's just. It's going to be so juicy.
All right.
True. Instead, ask yourself, why is Raquel talking about Bush in the chat? What?
Raquel, what are you doing?
I think that's the result of toxic man flu.
Oh my gosh, Raquel.
Toxic influence.
Oh yeah. Jumping in the fuckery.
His dirty mind's contagious.
Oh Jesus Christ! Mando Merc, hello, great to see you.
Hey, Mando Merc.
Oh Jesus.
What were we talking about?
Toxic says, "Stop being around the bush, signed in already." Paradet says, "No bush, it's been freshly waxed." Oh God. Jesus.
Yeah. So I think that honestly, there was a really nice scene. I think just like Script Doctor was saying, you know, Admiral, I keep wanting to say Karen. No, fuck it. Admiral Karen would not have asked a Cylon. You see the treatment of the Cylon that was under under her control, and then you see how they treated Sharon over on the Galactica, and the culture. This earlier in the episode, her colonel was saying, it's a machine. You can't word a machine. So yeah, it shows just such a difference in philosophy again of how these two groups have handled the decimation of their society and cultures. One is has been doing nothing but try and save humanity by running, and one has been the aggressor. And those two tones have created two different cultures within these vessels who are at one time were under the same code, same leadership, same government. It's
well, yeah, and I also think, Stephen, Adama kind of has a more intimate knowledge of interaction with the humanoid model Cylon. So he understands that underneath it all, there is some sentience in them that makes them different.
I believe that, but still, you're talking about a character who not too long ago almost lost his life because of war.
Right. Yeah.
Not only that, like he's more intimate knowledge than just the human models. He fought against the actual Cylons. Admiral Karen has not.
Yeah, exactly.
She was a child at the oldest when the Cylon War was happening.
Right.
So he's got way more frame of reference to understand what's going on. He's seeing a form of evolution from the Cylon perspective. So he's able to understand that they're not just upgrades. These are a byproduct of in organic science that is unseen before.
Oh my God.
So it's a whole new enemy.
Oh my gosh, this chat. Oh God. Her colonel was a machine. Indeed. That's one hard beat to flick. Exactly.
What the hell is going on?
Oh my gosh.
When Raquel is in the chat, she causes chaos. That's
Raquel,
what
you are. Oh my goodness, Raquel. This is a new side of Raquel. It's great.
Oh, this isn't new. We've seen this before.
Well, yeah, it's not really new. So we cut to the battle now. Man, there's just this really awesome shot where the Pegasus and the Galactica are both like bracketing a base ship, and you just see the artillery bombardment on where they're just wrecking the base ship. And oh my God, it's such a the battle shots are so good. I mean, and I'm a sucker for action like this. Like I love space battles, and my God, this is like ship porn right now. It's great. So
well, it's simple and it's clean. Like it's not like fancy camera tricks or movements or weird evasive maneuvers. It's very specific. It's just some pounding on either side where like their batteries are firing at the base star, and the base star is launching their nukes to the battle star, and their Vipers are trying to take out the nukes and take out whatever raiders are in the area, and it's just kind of it's a very organized fight, and it looks beautiful in its simplicity. And it doesn't linger on it either. It's just a couple of seconds in each shot, and it goes to where we saw Adama at the beginning, floating in space and dreaming about being in the lake. And
and speaking of that, we get to where the Blackbird takes out the FTL. And Apollo collides with another one of the Vipers. He's spinning out of control, and then he ejects, and it cuts over to the CIC, and Dee says she's just received an emergency transponder, and she tells it's the auto distress beacon from the Blackbird. And, Commander Adama says, alert the search and rescue Raptors, see if they had time to eject, so they know it's the Blackbird. So you can see the look of concern on his face, but immediately Adama knows that he's got to put that away, get back to business. And, he turns back to watching the monitor. And so they are preparing to launch all their Vipers. So this is where it gets really good. And you get to see Starbuck flying a Mark 7, which I'm like, yes, finally.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for screenshots of those. I'm sorry. But yeah, absolutely, just man, goddamn, beautiful ships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excitement. I love the whole battle sequence. Apollo being out in space. Is this when he discovers?
Well, right now, what happens is we're cutting back into CIC. Fisk is in there. The Marines are posted outside. And right now they're just kind of waiting for the battle to unfold, and then we go and start to see Apollo floating in space, and he hasn't found the leak in his flight suit yet, but then he looks down and notices that he's got an O2 leak, and he's like, oh, well,
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Imagine
Not
being
good.
out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a ticking clock. So he's got X amount of oxygen left before the raptor to live, and then hopefully the raptor will find him before that happens. And that's a hard thing to do because space is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a terrifying concept too, just to be out there unprotected. And I like how they kind of
there you go, Drew.
Did the thing with him floating in floating in the lake and kind of
I don't like
it would feel like, but
I don't like being
exposed.
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't like being unprotected either,
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. Just being
yeah.
out in space.
I'm sorry.
It is pretty terrifying if well, wait a second. Never mind. But
oh God, so
that was painful. So
hey, Drew, real quick. I think there is something here. Is it this one? No, it wasn't there. But there's a nice shot for you of the of the two, and then here's a more distant shot, and there you've got
and that's what we were talking about, because it just, I mean, that looks so cool, and the Battlestars are just such good looking ships. They always have been. And Ensign Ricky, hello, great to see you, buddy. God,
there's Lee floating.
Jesus, God.
Double entendres are.
Parrot had Drew going in without protection.
Beware the Drew.
And that's why he has to go to his physical therapy right now. So.
He blew it out. He blew a tire. Yeah,
well, they didn't diagnose it with trauma, but they didn't look for immense pleasure, right? So.
Oh, this chat right now.
I got coffee. I'll be right back.
Raquel, afternoon delight or afternoon fright? What the fuck? Oh my gosh, man! Wow. I'm like legit 5 shades of red right now. I'm glad I'm not cammed up. I am glad I am not cammed up. Raquel would love nothing more than to see me in like full blush mode at the moment. But yeah, we're moving on. We kind of get into a really interesting exchange where Gaius is sitting with the Cylon prisoner, with the other number 6, and
Gina.
He's asking Gina. Thank you, script. He's asking Gina, well, do you think they'll forgive us?
Gina or Gina?
And she said, God forgives all. Mm-hmm. And the 6 and Angel 6.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's interacting with Baltar, trying to really freak him out. Like tens of thousands of Cylons are gonna die. Oh my God, this and that. And then Baltar goes and kind of rips the thing that Angel 6 told him back in the first part of the episode where last week where she was talking about going to the Pyramid Games right before the game would start, sitting in the crowd, and he using this line on Gina, and Angel 6 obviously at this point is not liking this, and she's essentially, yeah, she's
losing her grip on Baltar.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because Angel 6 is in his head, Gina is in front of him, and it is the woman that he loves, but now he sees her and wants to help her.
He feels reunited with her. Yeah.
I wanted to ask. Oh God, I want to ask Script this actually. Yeah, you're more attentive to details than I am in storytelling. And have we seen Angel 6 be as empathetic toward the death of humans as she was acting hysterically about the death of Cylons? Because I believe that brings into question if she is an angel working for a deity. Does that mean the Cylons actually do hold higher precedence as God's chosen people in this universe?
That's a really good question, because so far, up until this point, I don't think we actually have seen Angel 6 care about human lives in the same level as what we see here with her with regards to Cylons. So yeah, that's a very good question.
That's the impression that I got when I saw her reacting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I saw her freaking out about the death of the 2 Cylon base stars and the resurrection ship more than anything else.
Yeah, like I don't recall her any reaction with regards to, I guess was it 33? Yeah, where they have to destroy the civilian ship. She was present for that, at least in Baltar's mind. I don't recall her doing any sort of reaction to that. Trying to think of any other situations with regards to human life.
I really haven't. Like, I've seen her maneuver. I've seen her help to maneuver Baltar, to keep someone alive, or let something happen so that somebody dies. And when, as far as the humans, but when it comes to the Cylons, she is she's caring.
She's protective.
Well, how the I just lost my thought. How the people view machines, the Cylons, as machines. It's kind of a similarity there in how she views humans.
Yeah, like the Pegasus crew views Cylons as nothing more than machines, and then she views humans kind of as facilitators to her own goal, which is essentially like a machine.
Yeah. And it's also that similarity. I mean, they were created by humans. They also would have those same flaws and faults and imperfections. And
yeah, well said. Yeah, I mean, that's it.
We're trying to have a serious conversation, too. And in the chat, there's like,
what happened? What did we?
That's why we're
oh my God!
You enable them, Drew.
Poor Drew.
Especially on the back docking bay, it failed to maneuver successfully.
Oh my gosh, man!
You guys are great. This is so much fun.
This is Don's Revenge. By the way, earlier this afternoon I went on Don's stream and we were talking about stuff, and I was kind of derailing his stream. So this is Apt Revenge by Don. And we just happened to have the perfect cohorts to join in with Raquel and Tox and Parrot. God. So
bad influences.
Right. So being serious, going back to the show, we see Steven's favorite Galactica wife, Dee, trying to frantically contact Apollo.
Yep. Candace had a lot of good parts in there, intricate. I mean, she's a member of the bridge crew. Like a very prominent member of the bridge crew. I love seeing her, Gata. Those guys. Like, I love that. So I'm glad when they get some time to shine.
And it's pretty clear that Apollo essentially at this point gives up, and he's just like, "F it, I'm gonna check out."
Because my dad's going to kill the admiral. The president's on board. What the heck is worth living anymore? Bye-bye.
Right.
Is that what you got, Script?
Yeah.
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a part of it. I think Script's dead on with that because, we go back to that symbolism from the beginning of the episode where, Apollo's just laying in the water, floating away, and I think it goes with what Script's saying. He's just
it's a moment of peace for him. It's finally a moment of peace, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, that's kind of what I saw. I saw him just accepting fate and letting go, and just letting the weight off of him. That is kind of what I got, but I didn't think about him have that stress. I actually didn't think about the stresses that he had.
Well, the stress is what leads him to accept that, right? Like that's how it kind of works and balances out. It's like everything leading up to this point is challenging his character. And now that he's ejected and he's floating free in space, he's like, well, odds are I'm probably dead, so I don't have to worry about all the crap I've just faced. So now I'm just kind of drifting along like I am on a peaceful lake, and then knowing that if I don't make it, at least I'm at peace here. Right. And there's some value in that. It's kind of like it's just the calm before the eventual storm of recovery, or the peace before you slip away.
And of course, interspersed with that, as we see the scenes of Galactica and Pegasus engaged, finishing off another base star.
That's awesome to see.
We see the Vipers and Raptor squadrons taking out the resurrection ship, which was an awesome shot as well. And then, as we think Apollo's finally floating away for good, flashlight closes in on him. Big light from the rescue Raptor, and they found him. And then, of course, go ahead.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Can we? The one thing that I thought was a little bit of a crime with this episode was not the storytelling and the pacing, and they obviously were focusing on the tension between the assassins and the plan going down, and all of the pressure between all the individuals that are involved in this plot. But I don't think we fully got to enjoy the fact that for the first time in this series, we saw Galactica kicking ass against two base stars, and
we saw the Pegasus kicking ass too.
Oh, and the Pegasus, right? Well, I mean, the Pegasus obviously that's what added to the victory against this overwhelming enemy. But we got to see what the Colonial fleet can do when the odds are basically even between these two groups.
Oh yeah, when the Cylons don't hack the other ships.
Raquel, your hot little teacher avatar gives me a boner.
I do want it to talk down.
I do love your avatar.
That's very appropriate, Drew. That's.
I'm just being real,
If it talked down to me, maybe stepped on my chest. I see that. It's a great avatar.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked your point, Stephen, though, about. Because it is interesting how it's such a momentous battle, but I do feel like it is muted. It's kind of a footnote of this episode, which is so interesting because it's such a major event. And I thought that was a very interesting choice to make story-wise, because I feel like it was mostly just about the characters and how they react to these events and all the events surrounding it, that the battle was actually with themselves and with what they were willing to do to achieve victory, which was in the end, about the missions between Kane and Adama with their own people, and the missions that they gave to each perspective officer to carry out. So I thought that was such an interesting choice that they made with this, and it is such a beautiful, epic battle scenes here. But yeah, very, very muted, and its significance. I mean, and we should definitely take in its significance, because this was definitely a major victory for them. But I also think that it did play a part into what happened afterwards with the people, that they just couldn't believe what they just accomplished.
Elaine, with that scene with the Apollo, do you get? I think Raquel brought up an interesting bit of symbolism here, guys, and I want to get your take on this real quick. That water is symbolic of baptism, rebirth, and it's almost like a, it's almost like there is kind of a rebirth for Apollo. I think
water also is the element of emotion, and the fact that he is remaining just floating upon this still lake shows to me that he is at peace.
Yeah.
And he did face his own mortality being out there.
Yeah, because as we know, Stephen, water is also a very good centering device.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was the symbolism in the show is excellent.
Yeah.
The kind of insights that Raquel brings up, I love that. Thank you, hon.
Well, yeah, I mean, we call ships that we have in space part of a navy. They're not an air force, right? So, I mean, we treat space as we would treat water, as how we traverse it. The only difference is that we can go in any direction in space, but in water, unless we're in a U-boat, we have to, stay on the surface and move that way. Right. One thing that's also to point out that Elaine brought up is that the tension of this episode is not with the battle between the Cylons, it's between the battles of Adama and Kane. They both have the same plan for each other, and we're watching the episode not to see that they win, because we know they're going to win. It's to see who pulls off their mission outside of this Cylon battle at the end, and who's going to pull the trigger or relent against the goal.
I mean, would you admit you couldn't have kind of a more epic B plot in an episode?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's definitely to satiate. It's the through line to it. It's basically showing like it's counter to the methodology of what the president suggests when she says you have to kill Kane. It's like, well, no, we can prove that these two fleets work together. I mean, this is an example of how humans can work together, put aside their differences. That the question being is that can they continue that idea after the mutual enemy is done?
Right.
Well, and it kind of makes me think. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your point, Elaine.
Well, as far as like space battles goes, I was just thought the comparison of The Last Jedi, how like a major scene was when they did the hyperspace, like fly through the ship, fly through that holdout maneuver, yeah. And that was like the huge epic scene. But really, and then what happened to their character development and the writing and the dialogue? That was the muted part. That was what was lacking. And here we have the exact opposite. This is an epic scene, epic space battle, beautiful, and the music and then the quiet moments. But what was most important were the characters, the writing, the dialogue, and I'm just amazed.
The conflict, the choices.
Yes, you didn't feel any of that. Yeah, in The Last Jedi.
That's also the constriction of a tighter budget too. It's like what can we do to make our time for the episode, knowing that we can't spend 45 minutes of these two armies exchanging fire, because that's going to get boring. And that's actually true of the case. It's like you want to make the stuff that people tune in for worth watching. So a space battle is great, and you can like play it over in your head, but you can't quote a space battle. You can quote a great line.
Well,
right? And that's kind of what you want to do, right?
Maybe a big budget is a constriction to storytelling, I guess.
It can be.
Some ways.
It can be,
yeah, because you don't have to be creative to achieve the special effect, right? So
you can have explosions and
you throw in your explosion, you got your Michael Bay right there. That's his formula. Yeah. Like it's just if you can have. You can save a lot of money by having people talking, but so long as they're talking about something important and that there's tension and conflict and resolution and goals, then it also just makes that action sequence all the more enjoyable. You can even go down to the X-Wing attack on the first Death Star. We follow Luke because we've had an hour and 30 minutes of getting to know this character, him telling us that he's a great pilot, and other people sort of supporting that idea. Now we get to see it in action, and we get to see his struggles, and we get to see that he's not perfect, that he gets shot, that he needs help from his co-pilots, and that this is not going to be an easy scenario for him. And we're invested because we're seeing his troubles, even though he's still being this relatively amazing pilot by comparison. So that it's more than just a space battle. Now compare that to the opening battle in The Last Jedi with your mama joke, and with Poe just flying through and taking out a dreadnought like it's nothing. It's like, we don't care. It doesn't mean anything anymore. There's no weight to it, because we've seen Poe 12 minutes in The Force Awakens, and now we're seeing him at the very beginning of The Last Jedi. We don't know anything about him.
Raquel's giving you props, SD. She loves you.
Oh, well, thank you, Raquel. We miss you over here. I'm glad you're in the chat today.
Yep. Parrothead says the first Evil Dead is a great example of low budget and a good story.
Absolutely.
Raquel says we invest in him and his journey. So, yeah.
Exactly. Now, this is one of the things true of also Christopher Nolan. Before he got Batman Begins and that Bat franchise, his movies were pretty darn good and creative, because they didn't rely on clever camera techniques and special effects. Then we start getting Inception, which is kind of a hollow story, followed by Interstellar, which again is also hollow. And I have my reservations for Tenet, because I think it's going to be more effects driven than really cool characters. I think the characters are going to have some decent motivation and some cool lines, but I think they're also going to be kind of forgettable, because tell me some details about Cobb or Matthew McConaughey's character in Interstellar. Like, years later, not many people can. So
I think Parrothead's comment earlier about the first Evil Dead is a great example of low budget and good story. That movie is so low budget.
Real quick,
like 10 grand.
I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna step away to the head. So go ahead, continue.
Yeah, somebody showed up.
I feel so bad, and I think I interrupted Drew to begin with. So.
Oh no.
We'll have to resume when he gets back.
Sure. Okay. Anyway,
that was really good insight script. You guys are awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt anybody. I'm so sorry.
Well, continue on with the Evil Dead comparison you're making, because I think you had something good there.
Thank you so much. Evil Dead was so low budget that the actors still had day jobs, and the crews that were working on it still had day jobs. So they had to go up there and film that at different times. That most of that movie, if you listen to interviews from it, they say that for a lot of the movie that was being shot, they were up there on their days off from their day jobs putting that movie together. So the editors for that movie did a great job with taking just basically a bunch of lone cuts from different actors and different members of your crew, and then being able to put that together into the movie that we got. So yes, I agree with Parrot at 100%. That is a great example of a low budget being able to produce a great story.
Yeah, if you want to hear more about that, I would suggest finding the book by Bruce Campbell called If Chins Could Kill. He's gotten several chapters about the production of Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and all the other things he's done. Great read. Also, a nice little getting your feet wet for amateur filmmaking, at least from their perspective. Stuff that you could definitely apply to the newer technology today. Highly recommend that book. So,
send that to the Rookie Critic.
I don't even think has Jeff seen the Evil Deads yet?
I would hope Jeff has, because
I know he's like going to be watching The Matrix for the first time this weekend.
Oh my God, Jeff!
For the first time?
Yes. He's 24. He's a kid. He was like, in diapers when the first Matrix came out.
Oh wow,
that's true. But I mean, something like the Evil Dead series would be something that I think that should be on a list of things for him to watch, because it was low budget. It is the kind of things that he's going to be getting into as he progresses as a young aspiring writer-director.
Yes, so, absolutely.
And I definitely think that budgets or like low budgets, you work more for what you have. Mm-hmm. Like you want it to succeed for sure. Like you
make what you can shoot count.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
There's no need for a throwaway line or a throwaway scene when you're low budget, because you're limited by the time you have and what you can spend. So every scene is supposed to count. Now, unfortunately, that's a very difficult lesson for a lot of amateur and up and coming filmmakers to learn. Because they try to replicate the final product of what movies they see, as opposed to seeing the journey of how they got there. And that through that journey, that's where you right the craft of directing and editing and actually telling a great story.
Right. And if Drew comes back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay. Raquel. Yeah. Thank you.
And welcome, Odyssey's up in the chat. Welcome, buddy.
Oh, hail, DJ Odyssey.
Yeah,
hail, Odyssey.
So, yeah, let's get back into this. So, right as we see the Vipers go through and you know, they are decimating the resurrection ship. You know, after the quick thing with Apollo, we see the quick cut to Gina and Baltar, and just the looks on their faces are great. I love that quick interplay, and then cuts over to the rescue raptor. They have revived Apollo, so everything's hunky dory, or so it seems. And big applause erupts around the CIC as the attack has been a success. And then Fisk has this look on his face as Adamas congratulating everybody. Like, Fisk is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Can't believe we just did that.
Yeah, he's like, oh God, what am I gonna do? It's like he has that look on his face, like he just wants to grab the oh shit handle.
I love his performance in this episode.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah, he's a very good character in this.
He's a good character, a great actor for the part. Played it perfectly, in my opinion. But we'll go into further episodes to expound more upon.
Yeah, there's gonna be some things to come for Fisk, and we're gonna see that as we go along.
Yeah, he's like Colonel Ty with a little more balls, and he's not a cuck.
Yeah,
he's also more conflicted too. Like, this is a guy who is trying to struggle with the choices he's been forced to make by his admiral.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. See, with Fisk, I think that he still kind of is, but he's like really under Kane's thumb. Like, he's not going to go and.
He's not going to fire, no, but he hates the fact that he acquiesces.
Yes, and because I think that he knows he has betrayed the spirit of that uniform several times in his journey in the last 6 months with her.
Yeah, him serving her has made him basically a traitor to what he swore to protect and uphold, and he's caught between a rock and a hard place because there's no one else for him to be under a command of, and he's dying inside, and you can tell that you can tell that right in the CIC, right when we get to the phone conversations.
And you also get to see where, in a rare instance, Colonel Ty, I mean, he's been kind of hanging out with them and getting drunk and getting information out of them, so you get to see that, where Ty actually is kind of a manipulator himself. Useful, yes.
Ty's so great. Everyone has their own strengths. I love the part he plays. Like, he has his faults, but again, sometimes those faults can be useful.
Oh, there's definitely I have a love for each and every one of these characters on some level.
They're relatable.
They
each have their different flaws. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and Ty, I just love picking on Ty because Script likes picking on Baltar. I like picking on Ty.
Ty's hilarious.
Well, I like picking on Ty too because he's also his own special unique of useful and pathetic. He's pathetically useful. I mean,
we can all relate to that at times. Yeah, this is such a great moment. I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but how they build up the tension to the calls. I mean, they're just kind of celebrating and just the elation.
Well, then
the call is coming.
Well, we have the interspersing cuts, and one thing I don't want to gloss over that coming back into it, there's the one little cut at the beginning as we come as we come back in, where it's Gina and Baltar, and she just looks at him and says, "I'm ready to die." And I thought that was absolutely so powerful there.
I don't think I can blow it up.
Not the resurrection ship is done.
Yeah.
She can die and be dead.
Yeah. She's just ready to die. And then you get the very nervous and tense, and you can feel the tension as Kara is taking that long walk down the corridor of the Pegasus to the CIC, and she calmly unclips the top of her holster so that her pistol's accessible, and she sort of mutters to herself, "I wish you were here, Lee, but oh well." And my goodness, you have that where she briefly stops at the window, and this is another nice little nuance. She stops at the window of the CIC as Kara's talking to the Marine for a second, and you just see her looking through the window at Kane. For a quick, and that's another powerful little nuance to this. And it's like you're speaking to Elaine, them setting up the calls, and then we get the cut to Galactica, where God again with the irony, where Saul says, "Boy, I'm glad that we didn't need all these Marines," and Fisk is like, "Oh yeah." And then of course we get to the calls now, and she says, "Congratulations, Commander." And one thing that makes it harder on Starbuck is right before this call, Kane says how very proud of Starbuck she is, and you can see that there's more conflict. It puts even more pressure on Kara.
Mm-hmm.
And so Adama asks for Starbuck in the call, and Kane passes the phone over. And Kara has her hand on her pistol. And then Adama says, in order to survive, one has to be worthy of surviving. And that's all. And Kara understands that the order is to stand down.
But it's a brilliant point that's made from Adama, which is that he's absolutely right. As a species, we don't deserve to live. We have to prove our worth of living, and that's done by the type of actions we make and the choices that we enact. And he made the choice to say, "I'm not going to order you to kill this person, because then life is not precious from that perspective."
And it's amazing that he garnered that insight from his enemy.
Yeah. Well, he was reminded of it from his speech in the miniseries because of her. Yeah. It's like he was brought back to the type of regret he had when he was in that moment when he was decommissioning Galactica. So it was very nice to see that played through again at this point, and also to see how far he has come. When in that miniseries he had resentment for Laura and the president, as she was the president and whatnot, and believed he was at war. He was definitely in the position that Admiral Kane is now, where it's all about the war. It's all about fighting and making victories and gaining ground. But now here's this place was like, no, it's about survival, being worthy of life, and what it means to go on, and why it's worth fighting for, as opposed to just fighting because it's a reaction.
Exactly. To be worthy of humanity, to live up to that standard.
It takes right. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it takes more than that. We saw these two different roads go. As I've said probably 3 times now, 2 different groups of people who have dealt with this circumstance in 2 completely different ways. One trying to literally trying to save humanity, its ideals, beliefs, cultures, everything about it, and one fighting to overcome an enemy against dire odds, fighting to save, and the way that the way that shaped the outlook of both of these groups. And,
well, yeah, you make a great point there, Stephen. Kane is willing to sacrifice her humanity in order to win a victory, and Adama is willing to sacrifice a victory in order to save humanity.
Yeah.
Oh, well said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they built the moment up so well. Starbuck she is dripping with sweat. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to do it. She's gonna do it. But yeah, every fiber of her being was saying that it was conflicted. And I love how they showed that physically. Like you could tell physically that something, I mean, you could attribute it to, I guess, the elation from battle, from what just happened. But really it was about what she was about to happen, what was about to take place, what she was going or prepared to do.
Oh, that tension, that was so good. Mm-hmm. And then you get to the other side where Kane, is on the phone with Fisk, and he's waiting. He's like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then she said, congratulations, Jack.
Yeah.
That's all. And then they hang up the phone. And I find the moment of levity afterwards is so great because Saul says, oh, you look like you could use a drink. Yeah. Fisk, I love Fisk's laugh. It's freaking hilarious. But
it really is a good tension breaker. That was the best.
And it was so belly hardy that even Gaeta turned around is that guy all right?
Yeah.
I feel like we relate to him the most in this moment.
Yeah, and then the funniest thing though is just like I said. I mean, his laugh is hilarious throughout this whole thing. Throughout these episodes as he goes on, because he's just I don't know. Fisk is such an underrated, good, temporary character in the show, and that's a recurring theme of this show. Even temporary characters that are only in for a couple episodes, even a one shot, are very good. They're written well. They project well. They are just. They're perfectly used in storytelling, and I can't begin to say enough about the way that these shows are written. It's just multi-layered writing, character development. It's always on point with the focus, and
it's a character built with a purpose. That's something that's very important to have.
Yeah, they know not to give us Ty's wife too much. It's really good.
Yeah, and I
where to be found.
Yeah, the only character they wrote that didn't have a purpose was Boxy, but we've created a purpose for him.
That's right. Boxy has a purpose. It is a purpose for this chat. Yeah. He's created for us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and hey, Tommy, welcome on in. Great to see you, buddy. Tommy, the best mod on YouTube. Great.
He is.
Great to have him in on the stream, chilling in the chat and keeping a watchful eye.
Tommy, at least I wear pants.
And
Tommy doesn't wear pants?
DJ Odyssey, man, it's pretty funny when DJ Odyssey's the innocent one. He said, hey, I have nothing to do with the coffee talk this time.
Yeah, you're just so innocent, DJ. Thanks, buddy.
I love your picture. That was great.
Raquel says Kim Jong Ellen.
What?
Oh, Ellen, when she was when Saul was running the show.
Oh, right. I'm completely blank there for a second. I'm very tired right now.
Yeah. Well, let's get to wrapping it up. We're almost 20 minutes, 2 hours.
I did want to say that the first time I watched this episode, I was genuinely surprised that Admiral Karen did not give the order. I thought for sure she was going to give the order.
Well,
what was it? Orange? Something orange?
Yeah, code orange or something.
Orange, yeah. I thought that she recovered a bit of humanity. after the attack, which was good. And then there was, of course, we got Boxy theories.
Do we?
Yeah, DJ said Boxy took a vacation this week. No, actually, Culture Casino took a vacation this week. Maybe the Boxy and him are vacationing.
Culture Casino on vacation. He's like his little Asian lover boy in a jacuzzi. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Tommy, thank you for the well wishes, by the way. God, man, there's great banter going up in this chat. Script Doctor with the Boxy theory.
And you can see from my avatar, I'm wearing pants just below where see that straight line at the blue where my shirt is, and this black beneath. Pants, Steven. Pants.
Boxy is black from the hips down. We all know that.
Boxy
Listen, not like the alien from that Frank Gorshin played in Star Trek.
Well, you won't find Script Doctor. You read your own Boxy theory.
Oh, Boxy was in the Viper that hit Apollo by the resurrection ship.
Damn it, Boxy. and you know what? The Blackbird. Can we talk about that? Let's go on. Right. It was such a cool thing for them to put that ship together, you know. The effort that it took, the crew putting that, and it did its job. It did a great job in its short life, but that's another temporary character too that I feel lost over because that was a cool shit.
Oh, maybe that's also kind of.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it also is gives weight to what's happening with Apollo, and that maybe like something in him kind of died also in that, or awakened, or kind of was reborn, as Raquel said, and I guess the ship being destroyed was kind of added more weight to that. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh man, oh Jesus.
That's a long blend.
Oh my God.
This is the most I've laughed like all day. This is great.
Raquel,
who needs to watch the news and what's going on? We can just chill out with us. And
Raquel says code espresso.
Nerd cookies. This is your fault. You started all this. You did it.
I know. I take responsibility.
I mean, technically, it was your mother-in-law who started this business, right? So.
Oh wow.
It is not. Is okay. It's not. She just does it.
It's toxic man flu.
She doesn't do it to other people.
Wait a minute. So she services it to herself. She doesn't give it to other people.
It's actually. I don't want to get too much into it.
My own thing, right?
But it's actually like a means of health and just what? I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a biome thing.
It's a thing. It's like natural medicine, you know.
It's natural, all right.
You can't hear that, okay?
Anyways,
this is me, nerd cookie.
I didn't want to clarify it at all because I like the mystery. I like the jokes that just come up.
Because we're full of jokes and full of enemies.
Yeah. I can't take responsibility though for all of this. It started sure, but everyone's just what has resulted is I don't know.
Yeah, all we need. It's too bad we don't have Jane Theory here. That would be great. But if Stephen Walton had been
double trouble
on the Death Star, Luke, Han, Chewie, and Leia wouldn't have survived the trash compactor. And Raquel has issues with you, Script Doctor. She said, those aren't pants.
They're slacks, technically. So.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. DJ said, to be fair, I very rarely wear pants with sitting here. Oh,
I have yoga pants on, so.
Currently, I've got flannel pajama pants ready for bed.
Ensign Ricky actually tried to make dude, it's hard to write various comment in this chat. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Raquel is winning chat tonight. Jesus Christ. Oh God.
Oh man, so
Tommy is advertising your book, Stephen. Look at that.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Don't forget the cookies.
The Odyssey, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could be there for you, buddy. You are one of my best friends. You know that, and I'm always there for you, sir. And oh Jesus, Tommy. Oh goodness. Oh, we have Matt at Daggett now. Cold-blooded critic. Hi. Great to see you, buddy. Oh God.
Oh, they're not showing it. Oh my God.
Oh God.
Anyways.
All right, so we're caught up on the chat. Let's go back to Oh wait, hold on. We got another Boxy theory. Hold on. So DJ Odyssey said next week Boxy will come off vacation back to his old self, bringing Walton's brew back to all those colonial enemas.
Oh Lord.
Oh Jesus. Cold-blooded critic. Folgers in your butt and Dolphins on parade. Oh Jesus. Enema Pants by Stephen Walton coming soon. Says Tommy. Oh wow. We are in rare form tonight. So, all right, let me try to get some decor back here. So, we have the scene with Baltar and Gina where, they knock out the guard. Gina grabs the guard's sidearm, and what happens is at that point, Gina wants Baltar to shoot her, and Baltar instead gives her the gun and says, no, you don't need to die. What you need is justice. And then, she takes the weapon and makes her way up. And before she makes her way up, she says, why? And Baltar simply said that he loves her and there's a place she'll be safe and everything else. And whatnot, and she makes off with the weapon, and then we cut to Kane walking to her quarters. She walks in, of course. Gina is waiting, and this is where we get the big showdown, and they have a quick exchange of words, and she just proceeds to take out Kane.
She throws her words back at her.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah. Can you roll over?
Are you going to beg? Or
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Kane her response is, frack you, and
then she's like, you're not my type, and bam!
Yep.
Consider yourself retired, Admiral. Ho-ho!
No, nice.
Okay. Her actions had consequences.
Yep.
Yes,
she got revenge, and also, I mean, the manner with which we got here was a tad convoluted, but was inevitable. Like we knew that Baltar was eventually going to recover Gina and allow her to get her revenge. The pacing for it was a little bit abrupt, but it is effective. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, how long could you really drag these characters out further to get to this point before it starts feeling a little lacking in actual development, right? So
right. That's a good point.
You can afford a little bit of this. It's actually an often debated subject within the screenwriting and production communities, where it's like, there's a lot of great things in this script, but there's this one thing here that kind of sticks out, but you can kind of ignore it because everything else is so good. So you just kind of let it slide until you can think of a better way to do it. But usually by that point, you're so knee deep in getting the thing done, you don't really come up with an alternative option. So then, therefore, you get those things where you're like, wait, that doesn't quite make sense. But the rest of the movie's so really good.
Right. All right, to stay on top of the chat, Oh God! After the enema pants by Stephen Walton, Raquel says, "Oh, they call him Flipper." DJ Odyssey says, #blame Elaine.
Yes.
What? Come on.
Toxic Man Flu says, when will author Stephen Walton release his next coffee table book? Depends.
Oh, my
Lord.
That's actually good fun.
That would be so good.
Oh, man. #cookies and brews, says Toxic Man Flu. Cold-blooded critic, #blame Elaine. Uh-oh. It's catching on. And Raquel's standing up for you.
Aw, thank you, Raquel.
Don't mess with Elaine. She turns nerds into cookies. Oh gosh. It's called an ass splunkin' dunk.
Hey, real quick while you're doing that, would you drop me below Script Doctor and then continue with the chat? Thank you.
What?
Just pull me out and then put me back in. Wait.
What? Damn it.
Just take me off the stream and then bring me back in real quick. Thanks.
All right, hold on.
Why does he want me on top of Steven?
Because I want you on top of me. All right, go ahead. What did Toxic say?
Oh, stupid. The Toxic said it's called an ass splunkin' dunk. Too much suspension. Oh God. Raquel is lapping her ass off. Tommy's lapping his ass off. Steven is giving his secret away.
What the hell?
All right, hold on. Let's
do one more.
Yeah. Tommy said he wants everything on top of him. Toxic Man Flu said, I need to clip that. Steven saying, pull me out, put me back in.
No. It was a miss. I misspoke. I just misspoke.
Oh, man. Oh, sure.
Script Doctor's legs. Oh, they're way more defined than that.
Oh, my goodness.
He's not wearing any pants. I keep trying to tell you.
He's not?
That. No.
All right, so moving on, we get to we cut back into Lee. He's I guess he's lamenting the fact that he lived, and then the memorial service for Admiral Kane on the Pegasus hangar deck, and Fisk is going to take command.
Mm-hmm.
And, I find you can see too, Kara goes up and speaks really quick. And you can see that Kara had respect for her.
Yeah.
And I always thought that she did.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like I said, I think there was a part of her that that I don't know, that could co-sign to fighting back to take the colonies, killing Cylons, getting into that. Like if those two had been together from the get, I think Kara would be a totally different person than she is right now. I think she would have maybe fallen into, I'm not questioning her morality, but when you're under combat and you're in a command structure and you feel that vengeance, of everything and everything you've loved and everything being destroyed, I think that in that environment, Kara might have been a totally different person. But because she had people around her that were trying to save humanity and their humanity, as we saw in this episode, then she grew up in a healthy environment. But like as a fighter, like I mean, even if you don't look at the ideology and the ideological difference between the two, if she's built to be a warrior, she is a fighter. That's who she is, and that's who Kane was. However misguided she became, and so she respects that. And I think that maybe she even self-reflects that about herself to a degree.
Yeah. So so we go to where it cuts to Kara's is visiting Lee, and Lee is lamenting that he broke his word to Kara and let her down and everything, and she's just concerned that he's okay. And Duala is standing like around the corner in the hallway, unbeknownst to them. So, you can definitely tell that something's growing there with Duala and her feelings toward Lee.
And you know what I've also been thinking since I watched that interview with Candace, and the realization that like they were trying to gear her toward being the next Cylon, so like I'm looking at that now, and I'm wondering how that fits in, and I don't know, that just reminded me of that. Like, I don't know, that's going to be a part of how I look at that character because of that new insight on the changes that were made in the show as the show progressed.
We have an interaction now. Looks like back on the Galactica where Athena is safe, and now Hilo and the Chief have obviously been cleared, and they are visiting Athena. So we can see Athena's joy that she has, her man back, and also that Hilo's safe, or also that Tyro's safe. And then Tyro kind of just sort of is like, oh boy, I'm the third wheel here.
Well, that was he had mentioned earlier about him having to let go.
Yeah.
And so that's when she asked, her man, where we go from here, he was like, yep, I'm the third wheel. I need to cut this off. I'm done, and walked away. But he's still there, like as a moral person, like he said before, if I had walked into that situation, I'd do it all over again, no matter what. So we know that the Chief has a decent heart, but it is time for him to let that go.
Yeah. I mean, he cares for her, but not in that way anymore.
And so here we are. We get to the interaction of the episode where Adama is debriefing with the president, and he's on Colonial 1, and so what they first talk about, like how does Cylon slip past our security? Dama said, no, nobody really knows, but they both kind of say thank the gods of how things turned out, so that it didn't turn out the other way. And then there's really touching interaction here where the president hands him officially the Admiral stars, and I thought, of course, this is one of the most touching scenes, and Adama and Rosalind really connect in this scene because as it was, remember on our old Pegasus Actual forums when it first aired, many of the people that wanted Adama and Rosalind to get together, they loved this interaction because this was just so wholesome, and you get the first little kiss between Adama and Rosalind.
It's a sweet kiss, and it's something that makes you forget the fact that Billy totally took those Admiral pins off of Kane's body.
Yeah, I know. I know, right?
What? Like he said he had
to find a jeweler. Yeah, sure thing, man. They're gonna waste jewelry resources on Admiral clicks that are already on a
That is a good point, SC. Because that's one of the things that I always wondered about this. It's just great, but that's the first one of the first really. I think one of the things that really sparks. Gives the romantic sparks between Adama and Rosalind, and you kind of can tell that at this point, you know, they're meant to be. It's the matriarch and they are mom and dad, you know, and that's it. I mean, it's Mama Dama and Papa Dama, and everybody knows that. And so that's our episode. I thought it was really well done. You know, that interaction. I mean, if you,
I'm not crying, you're crying.
If you didn't shed a tear at that, then you can't really be human, because it was just, oh God, it was so touching.
It's so beautiful. This is true love, and this is one of the best romance stories.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the best. It is definitely up there. It is so touching, so pure, so beautiful. And as such, when she hands him the pins, and, you know, she's struggling as well. It's been a rough couple of days for her as far as her cancer treatments goes. So she's doing her best just to run the fleet and to, you know, keep Adama safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a beautiful moment when they share that little tender kiss. And it's such a wonderful moment, too, to demonstrate what a male character, what a strong male character is. It's not just all tough as nails and the strong leader, but Adama just encompasses everything, that you can be strong but also sensitive and sweet, and it's just demonstrated so well with his relationship with Rosalind. And again, I think again, I'm just amazed about the representations of male and female characters, how they're both represented as strong but in diverse ways, and male characters are presented as strong but also show emotion and show strength in other ways, as far as sensitivity and frailty and vulnerability. So I was in tears. I'm sorry. It's just a beautiful moment for sure. I think
Raquel,
to end it.
It's worth crying for.
Too. Yeah, Raquel loved it too. She said, "Mom and Dad."
Yeah, well, it's worth something to point out is that this is a very honest type of romance. It's not a cookie cutter thing where it's love at first sight type of BS, or some sort of thing that's dragged through by the writers compelling these characters to get together. This is something that comes out of basically different points of view with the same goal, and a mutually growing respect, where you can actually understand why these two characters like each other. Too often you see in shows where you have these the boyfriend and girlfriend together, or whatever pairing you have together, and you have to ask yourself, well, why are these two together? Like they don't jive in any way, sense, or form. I don't understand why he likes her, or why she likes him, or why he likes him, or why she likes her. And it just kind of baffles me in some regard. Like, you get this a lot in the sitcoms. You get this like in several episodes of like Will and Grace and Friends, and in Seinfeld, and even in Frasier. Like, you're just wondering, like, why the heck are they dating this character? I don't see any motivation that makes it plausible for me to really believe in this romance. The same thing can be said for your hour-long dramas that are in like The 100 or Smallville or anything on the CW. You just don't believe in the love story because it's more plot driven than character driven. And here in Battlestar, we have something that's truly character driven over the serial format. And it's very special. And even though you want to like delay the inevitable of them hooking up, when you get that one kiss, it's very, very satisfying because it feels earned and it feels honest.
Yeah. And it's funny because I felt like, the Princess Bride line at the end, since the invention of the kiss, there's been like 5 kisses. They're the most passionate, the most pure. This one leaves them all behind. And that's what I was thinking of when I saw that. I'm like, that is just so pure, so beautiful. And again, like you were saying, script, like so real, relatable, and just beautiful. Yeah.
All right. So I feel honored because Parrot had kind of just shipped me and Raquel. He said, "Mom and Dad, Raquel and Drew."
Raquel.
Yeah.
Raquel.
Yep. There it is. We have our first Pegasus actual shipping moment now. So, and hey, I'm not gonna complain because if I get shipped with a classy woman like that, in classy, beautiful, and top notch, I'm not gonna complain. I mean,
you guys have full permission to ship at Script Doctor's legs with anyone.
All right, so the chat was on fire tonight. I wanted to kind of go down the list, but actually, sadly, and I wanted to let you guys in chat know this real quick. I am running out of actual minutes on my StreamYard streaming plan, so I actually have about. I want to say about 8 minutes left. So
well, let's knock it out, and so you can have one more live stream this month.
So no, I literally have 8 minutes left.
Start with like 5 or like 1 minute. You can still stream for a little bit.
But yeah. So we'll go ahead and there was something that
you're eating up time, Drew. You only have 7 minutes left.
Yeah, there was something that. They wanted me to share really quick, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna watch this because this was requested.
That's good. Put me back where I belong.
Oh no, this is here you go. This was requested.
Oh Lord.
As you know, I am just like you in nearly every way. I'm just like you.
Raina, start cookies!
Wake up and find a nugget. When this happens and things just don't seem to be running smoothly, I come to a method that all quality.
That is some great Photoshop on that coffee bag.
Yes, it was.
Walton's Best Brew and newly redesigned home delivery kit. That's right. This new coffee delivery system and premium enema brew will put that help back in your step and get everything running in the right direction again.
I disavow this message.
And as a companion for those moments you are waiting to push through, be sure to have your copy of The Fandom Menace, A Fandom Betrayed, to comfort you through your bathroom routine. I know I find it the perfect relief reading material when you have to grin and bear down.
Oh my God.
Be sure to pick up your copy today. You'll be glad you did. Also keep an eye out for Walton's entire line of handy bathroom coffee accessories.
What?
Walton's Best Brew is not recommended for oral consumption by plants, animals, or humans. Read directions thoroughly before utilizing Walton's Best Brew in your home enema kit. Experts now recommend proper footwear for traction during complete elimination. Safety handrails provide leverage and stability when bearing down. Author Stephen Walton makes no health claims regarding the use of this product. Member FDIC, AARP, and LMNOP. Operators are not standing by. For more complete instructions and disclaimers related to this product, be sure to pick up a copy of his new book today.
That's Tommy. I know that's Tommy. I know that's his voice. I don't care what filter you put on it.
Oh my gosh! Yes, that was requested, so we had to do that, and I think Raquel thoroughly loved that commercial. Tom made it into the chat right at the end. Big shout out to you guys. Yeah, we'll be right there, Tom. So big shout out to Tom at Midnight's Edge. Make sure that you support him. Make sure that you support everyone in there. Cold-Blooded Critic, you'll have to send me that. I want to use that sometime. Yeah, so everybody enjoy. And, we'll go around the panel real quick. I'll let everybody plug stuff, and we'll get out of here. According to Christy, hi, it's great to have you in the chat as well. And looks like I got a DM. I don't know if I'm going to have time to.
From Parenthood, if it is.
Hi, Christy.
Oh, yes, I will have time to share this. Oh, I got to share this.
No.
Oh, God, I got to share this. Yes. So this is from Christy. We did a face app of you, Stephen. So here you
No, I'm an ugly bitch.
No.
I never, ever wanted to do that.
She looks like a girl I went to high school with.
This you as the woman filter?
Ugly bitch. No.
Why are your glasses different? They changed your glasses?
No.
Oh man. All right, I need to get some kind.
Let's just end it there. That's fine.
I need to get some kind of.
On that note.
All right, thank you
Good night, everybody,
for watching the show. Check out Elaine's channel at Nerd Cookies. Check out Script Doctor's channel at Script Doctor PhD, and of course, author Stephen Walton. He is now monetized. Check out and support his channel. We all collectively love the episode. If I had to give it a score, I will go ahead and just say it was a 10 because all of these were a 10. All right. Good night, folks. Take care of yourselves and each other. Much love to everyone. I love you, my friends. And so say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.
Wash your hands and wash your ass.